to all. We know that in classrooms, as teachers, we have to deal many problems. That may be behavioral problems, or some problems may be related to their academic achievement. In today's discussion, our focus is upon common problems in classroom and implications for research. For elaborating on this topic and for a varied discussion, we have with us Dr. Sukhvinder. Let I introduce today's expert. Dr. Sukhvinder is Associate Professor in Geography in Educational Survey Division at NCERT, New Delhi. He is working in the area of social science education, assessment and evaluation, and conducted large-scale surveys, including the National Achievement Survey and identification of talented students. He has written varied experience of 2.5 decades in various educational institutions. He is closely associated with IGNOU for several academic activities. Welcome, sir, to this video program.
Thank you, Dr. Elizabeth.
Okay. So, we are going to focus in this video certain points. Common problems in classroom, types of common problems in classroom, classroom problems and implication for research, capacity building of teachers in managing classroom problems, best practices in managing classroom problems. After watching this video, you should be able to describe the common problems in the classroom, classify common problems in classroom, analyze common problems for research implications, list out the ways of resolving classroom problems, facilitate the teachers to manage classroom problems. Okay, sir, let me enter into the discussion. For that time aspect of discussion, I would like to know how will you initiate in today's discussion?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Elizabeth. So, before we start with today's session, so let me convey that this is very relevant topic for all our prospective teachers, those who will be there in the schools, those who will be encountering their students for conducting several pedagogical processes, and this is very relevant for them. So, to initiate the discussion, let me start with the problem word itself. So here I have a situation before you that when we hear the word problem, yes. So what does comes to our mind? So would you like to comment on that?
Yes, when you ask like this, the problem, first we have to differentiate what are issues and problems.
Yeah.
When we think of issues, that issues should be resolved, but problems, they need solving matters. So in classroom as teachers, we have to adopt various strategies to solve various problems. Especially we can see that in classroom there are behavioral problems. So many behavioral problems teachers has to manage in classroom. What to tell, even on online learning environment also, platform also, we are facing some other problems of the technical things, how the students are going on. So there are a lot of problems that the teacher has to solve.
Yeah. So the teachers, when we hear the word problem, so the very first thing which comes to our mind is that it is some sort of an obstacle. It can be a hindrance, yes. And we can face some glitches, which may consider as a problem. So what we can say that it's a matter or situation regarded as unwelcome or harmful and needed to be dealt with, and it has to be overcome. So you must have heard that every problem has a solution, and whatever locks are made in industries or in cottage industries, so they certainly have keys also. But the concern is that we have to search for those keys, we have to search for those solutions. So what we can say that problem is a situation which can be prevented for achieving something. And as I have conveyed earlier, that it's an obstacle. It may be a situation, it may be a person or a thing which needs immediate attention and needs to be dealt with. When it comes to classroom, so what we can say that our teachers, those who are there in the classroom for conducting several activities, they may encounter certain problems. So what we have learned earlier, that when it comes to classroom is a designated place in our school setup, and it's a learning space in an educational institution, in a school, college or university. And what do we do in this at this designated place? This involvement of teachers and students for pedagogical processes. And what happens inside the classroom? Normally, learning takes place uninterruptedly. So, we have learned about the concept of classroom, and then we have also realized that in this pandemic, in COVID-19 situation, so this normal classroom has been transformed, and now we have shifted to online learning, where teacher and students, they are sitting at their remote locations and learning take place. Now, considering these two scenarios, classroom and classroom, online classroom, we will see that what are the issues being faced by the teachers, what are their concerns, what kind of problems they are being facing in their classrooms.
Yes. Okay, you have very well stated what do we mean by the term problem. What are the various problems confronted by the teachers in the classroom?
Yeah. So before we actually move into the classroom, let me convey one more thing, that these problems can be solved. And you must be aware that there is a 21st century skill which is known as problem solving, and it is nothing but it's a strategically how you are handling those problems by adopting systematic scheme or systematic strategies. So these things, problems are situations which are creating obstacles in our classroom pedagogical processes and creating hindrances in achieving desired outcomes of learning. And it enables us to deal constructively with our problems in our classroom. So why these problems has to be resolved, why teacher has to give a lot of importance to overcome these problems? Because if these problems are left unresolved, they can cause mental stress and give rise to accompanying physical strain.
Yes.
So if teachers are strainers, if they are having mental stress, so probably they are not able to do justice with their roles and responsibilities, and they are not able to carry on these pedagogical processes in these classrooms, and of course then the learning will be hampered. So now we have said that what are the various problems which are faced by the classroom teachers.
Yes.
Though there are innumerable problems, the moment teacher inside the class and the class teacher finds that there are a large number of students, maybe around 60 or 80, which are not manageable. So this may be a problematic situation. Or a teacher teaching geography may find that there are no resources at all. The classroom is not equipped with maps. They don't have resources for learning geography. This can be another problem. So then there can be issues related with students. There can be issues related with teachers. So what I have done, very categorically, I have clubbed these problems under 4 categories, so that these can be simplified, these can be analyzed. And for prospective teachers, let me convey that we can categorize these classroom problems under 4 headings: academic, or it's related to learning of the students, where teacher is concerned with the learning levels of the students. Then there can be socio-emotional concerns of the children. There can be certain behavioral problems, and as I have conveyed earlier, that due to switching over to the online mode of teaching, there can be several other problems, that maybe internet facility is not available, or teachers or students, they are not equipped with the technology, or there may be regular power failure in that school.
And so, the teachers cannot assure that whether they are learning or not.
Yeah, so
assessing learning continuously is
very rightly said. So now what to do? Say problems has to be resolved, problem has to be overcome, right? And these are some of the concerns of the teacher, and the best possible way out is to conduct classroom research, and we will be discussing on this issue also.
Yes. Okay. Rightly, Dr. Sukhvinder has stated about several classroom problems. How can teachers overcome these classroom issues?
Yeah, so before say we come to the concept of overcome, say you can see a beautiful say collage on your screen, and what I have done in this case that I have listed several problems related with the teachers. So I'll request you to identify some of the issues which are displayed on our TV screen for the country of
normally we can classify it as the academic problems in the case of this academic performance, examination, so anxiety of examination, all this comes related to the academic, and they need some kind of career guidance.
Yeah.
After this adolescent stage, they need some kind of career guidance. And regarding the emotional or psychosocial problems, we can say that when we come, as we are dealing with the adolescents, this adolescence peer pressure is very much more, and then the adolescent stress because of their identity crisis, they are facing lot of issues in their mind, and then they don't know about how they are behaving. Sometimes in order to get a stand, they started in a perverted way, bullying others. That is also one of the issues that we can see. And some adolescents, if the school situation is not good, they try to run away. So truancy is another problem that we can see. And some adolescents who mean that this classroom is not up to the mark, there will be irregularity in coming to school. So these are some of the issues that we can see, and the stress is the most important thing they are facing.
So very rightly said Dr. Elizabeth that adolescent is a phase of transition where students, they are transforming, they are being moving from the childhood to the adults, and this stage of adolescence is full of turbulences where they are encountering lot many issues. So it's not only with the adolescents, but let's take a small child also, maybe learning at a primary grade or at a middle grade, they are having their own problems. So just to facilitate our prospective teachers, say this collage is presented in front of them, and what they can see that there are several issues related with the classroom situations and students. So broadly, if I have to pinpoint it out, there are problems related to examination and examination burden. So they consider examination as a burden. So moreover, students, they are also concerned about their academic performance. Are they performing up to the standards? And then teachers are also facing the problem of discipline. Or nowadays, what we have noticed that in online classes, so students, they log in their system, and thereafter, say they are being occupied, for engaged in different activities. And say in one way, they are dodging their classes. So they are not giving that much importance to their classes. And then this irregularity also, and students at higher secondary stage, they are very much confused about their careers, about their choice of subjects, choice of streams which they have to select, and what they must have encountered that they lack of interest, right? And then at the same time, as you rightly said, that bullying is also there, and nowadays, the cyberbullying is also being encountered. So these are some of the aspects, related to socio-emotional issues related with the students, apart from their academic issues. So I think this is very well illustrated, and teachers, they can have exercise at their own. Let them categorize these issues under 4 categories what we have listed earlier. under academic issues, under behavioral issues, socio-emotional issues, and issues related to online teaching. So I think say students, prospective teachers, they are well aware of the problems being encountered by them in their classes.
Yes. And we have discussed a lot about the issues what teachers are facing. And I know that eagerly you are waiting. How can a teacher resolve these classroom problems? Could you please elaborate some of the strategies?
Yeah. Say the problems, as I told you earlier, it comes with the solution.
Yes.
So solutions are lying within the problem itself, right? That as it stated earlier, that every lock has a key.
Yes.
Right. So in a factory, when lock is made, side by side, even the keys are also made. Okay, it's a matter of time, or it's a matter of situation, or we can say that it's a matter of chance that problem and solutions, they are at distant apart. So now, as a teacher, as an administrator, what we are supposed to do, we have to resolve these issues. And the answer to most of these problems is to conduct a research. And research, it's not an haphazard activity, it's a very systematic activity. But you can evolve yourself, you can build your capacity in the area of research by say reading more, by understanding more, or by practicing more. So you can be an active practitioner. And see, let me convey you that there are two possible way outs, which we have discussed in our previous sessions also, that teacher can conduct action research and teacher can also undertake case studies to understanding their problems are faced by the students in their classroom. So probably teacher has to undertake the research, and through classroom research one can overcome these issues.
Okay, can you say about the steps of conducting action research?
Yeah, so every problem has to be resolved, and say when we have said action research, but naturally we have to identify the problem, and then we have to hypothesize, make hypothesis, probable solutions to arrive at what is the solution. We have to select for the method. We need to collect data on the problem, and then data has to be analyzed and the report has to be written.
Could you say what is the role of teacher in solving classroom problems?
Yeah. So once teachers adopt all these steps and come to the meaningful conclusion, probably teachers can resolve some of the problem, but how to arrive at these solutions. Teachers needs to have certain skills. They need to have certain attributes. They need to have some specialties. So what are these specialties? Like let me list out some of the specialties or the requirements for fulfilling the role of the teacher in solving classroom problem. That he or she has to be keen observer.
Yes.
Right. First thing is that he has to be keen observer, then he will be able to notice the problem in the class, that these are the students facing problems in my class. Then readiness to solve the problem. See, you must have heard of Thorndike's principles of learning, and law of readiness is very important. And unless and until teacher is ready to solve the problem, or he has that feeling of readiness, okay, I have to solve the problems. Till then, the problem will not be resolved. The first thing is that he should have feeling of readiness. And then, as I've conveyed you in my earlier sessions also, the teacher should feel dissatisfied. Dissatisfied with his performance, with the available context, and this dissatisfaction leads to do something new, to do something innovatively. And that is how this aspect of dissatisfaction leads to solving problem in the classroom. And of course, a teacher has to be a scholar, which should be who should be aware of research methodology, so that he can use the things very meticulously. He should be resourceful. He should be a good, effective counselor. He should be able to connect with the students. Then only he will be able to do better action research. he will be able to take a better way this case studies, and he should be very empathetic.
Yes.
Very empathetic towards the students, whether the students are in the lower age group or the teacher is dealing with the adolescents. As you have rightly said, in adolescents, there must be a very much concern of the teachers, and of course, apart from that, a teacher has to be collaborator, planner, management, and very effective researcher. And I'm sure that if teacher can imbibe all these qualities, all these attributes, probably this will help teachers to resolve classroom problems.
Okay. So we have discussed in this session what is classroom problem, the types of classroom problem, the strategies to overcome classroom problems, and the role of teacher in resolving classroom problems. Hope you have understood how to deal with children in our classroom in an effective way.
Thank you.